The thing is working properly, you should advance at the same time.
Ready? Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Right here is I go here, and I go into her, meeting. Like I said, this is a webinar, so anybody can log into it. 8086. Really? It is. So on the iPad. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. This is how I monitor during my live session. I can hear if there's any problems or slides are not advancing. I can see it. But yeah, if you're on your office computer, that's really good. That's it. All done. All done. They'll give these microphones. So it's recording. It should be. The only thing I don't see is that I'm with the applicants. You do? They're hot. They're hot. And once the hot, you can turn them on. And they're labeled 1, 1, and 2, 1. So whichever one you want to decide.
Oh, okay. So we'll wait for you. Okay. Right. Oh, you must have heard the testing. I know. She's put bags. She's put brown bags around them.
My parts of the staff. So hopefully it's
I know.
Help you?
And check the back for another minute. So as soon as they're ready, we can go.
So, folks, we're going to get started in about a minute. We're waiting for some technology to be fully set up. So if you meeting. We'll be starting in about a minute or so.
I saw this.
Oh, great. Oh, good. Okay. Great. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to
Thank you. Okay. So thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate your time. For many of you, it was a long drive, well over 5 hours. I've talked to several of you and some of you here. So thank you for being here, taking the time. Today's program is about AB 86 planning. And I just want to begin and to let you know a little bit about AB 86, and other folks will tell you more. It's about planning. It is about establishing linkages between systems. It is not about one system or the other system or takeovers. It's really about taking the best of both the K-12 system and the community college system and establishing linkages, doing the best for our students so that they can transition smoothly through systems into the community, into jobs. That's what it's about. Our day is broken into 3 different parts. Our first part will be a slideshow. Some of you who've been listening to the webinars on Fridays will be familiar with the slides. The second part, we are asking you questions. There's some information that we need from you that will enable us to work on the RFA and shape the RFA. Very important information. So we're going to be coming around with mics as we go through the 4 different questions. Those of you who have registered saw the 4 different questions on the website. That's what we'll be asking you. And then the final part of the day will be hearing from you questions, issues, concerns, comments, whatever you want to share about AB 86 and planning. And we'll be walking the mics around to you so that you have an opportunity to do that. So thank you so much for being here. I want to introduce some folks. If you've been on the website, you know that the AB 86 Planning Group is a joint project between Chancellor Harris and Superintendent Torlakson. And in that effect, Superintendent Torlakson appointed 3 people from the Department of Education, 2 of whom are here, Gordon Jackson and Andrew Locker. The third is Alejandro Espinosa, and they form a cabinet. They form half of a cabinet. The other half of the cabinet are 3 people who were appointed by Chancellor Harris, and that is Vice Chancellor Von John Quinlivan, Vice Chancellor Barry Russell, and Vince Stewart, our government relations folks. So it's all about equity. The cabinet then appointed a work group, and I'm going to introduce Carmen from the California Department of Education, who represents that side, and she will represent and introduce the rest of the work group.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. So thank you again for coming and sharing your information, and hopefully we'll be also able to provide some information that you're all seeking. So let me go ahead and start off with the people that we have here from our work group, and we have Bob Harper and Anthony Beebe. So Anthony Beebe is from the San Diego Community College District. He is the president of the San Diego Continuing Education. And I'm also going to name a couple of members who are not able to be here who are also part of the work group. And as Deborah said, this is really a big effort in creating and building those linkages between the systems. So that being said, there are members in the work group from both sides of the system. So moving on with Donna Burns, she's from Mount San Antonio College. Joanne Durkee, she's from Mount Diablo Unified School District. And Mr. Bob Harper from Temple Adult and Community Education. Dr. Deborah Jones, who you just met from the Chancellor's Office. Erica Lee Brown from Santa Monica College. And you have Candace Lee from LAUSD. Sally Lenz, also from the Chancellor's Office. Myself, Dr. Carmen Martinez Calderon from CDE, or the California Department of Education. Andrea Rodriguez from from East Los Angeles Occupational Center. Greg Schultz from North Orange County Community College District. And finally, Dr. Shadidi Siamat from the California Department of Education. So that said, we're definitely going to get started with our presentation, and I'm going to give it over to Mr. Anthony Beebe.
Thank you. This is kind of weird with the microphone system not actually amplifying anything, but we're all here. we're all real. We're trying to make this a good experience for you. Again, my name is Anthony Beebe. I'm the president for San Diego Continuing Education, which is the adult education program of the San Diego Community College District. And I just wanted to say that, coming here reminded me a lot of the area where my wife and I grew up, which is in Southern Oregon, in a little tiny town called Talent, Oregon. Probably no one's ever heard of it. Who's heard of Talent? You ever heard of Talent? You been there? Good. Well, when I grew up, there was a population of like 125, and it was very rural. We grew up on a horse and cattle ranch, so I just thought this reminded me a lot of that area where my wife and I grew up. Just a little bit about our mission in talking about this AB 86. This effort here today is about kind of a pre-RFA. We're trying to gather some information from people in the field, the kind of the boots on the ground, the people that are actually doing the work that are ultimately going to be involved in putting together consortia throughout the state. And I have to tell you about this work group that we're involved with. We're all volunteers. I mean, we're all people that believe in continuing education, believe in adult education, and have been practitioners and, in most of our cases, teachers. I started out teaching adult education for a small program up in Southern Oregon. So we're very much involved in this, and we want it to be successful. And so our challenge is one of trying to gather information from you. Obviously, it could have been easy for a group of people to sit up in Sacramento and to pound out some kind of an RFA without any kind of feedback from us in the fields, in the trenches, right? What's so unique about this opportunity is it's a chance for us that are actually doing the work, that know the students, that know the programs, to have some influence and some recommendation through our group to the cabinet to be able to explain what's important to us in terms of this RFA that's going to be developed. So the nice part about it for us in the work group is that we're from non-credit community college groups and from the adult ed K-12 folks, and we're all working together, really, I think, modeling the way forward, the way that this is going to work out in the long run throughout the state. So we're kind of modeling that, and it's been great. I know I've learned a lot from Bob and from the other adult ed folks that are in this work group, and it's really been amazing. It's been an amazing opportunity, I think, for all of us. So this AB 86 is about, if you need my clicker. As Deborah pointed out, it's about the Community College State Chancellor's Office and the State Superintendent of Public Instruction's Office coming together to provide a 2-year planning and implementation grant to develop these regional consortia throughout the state. Here's an interesting part of all of this is that the goal is to have 100% coverage of adult education throughout the state. Now we know, those of us that are involved in adult education know that already isn't the case. I mean, we've got holes and pockets all over the place where adult education is not happening. But through this process, and ultimately the goal of this is that we have complete coverage throughout the state. And it's really all about alignment and partnerships. I was talking with some folks here about aligning curriculum with adult education onto the colleges, so it makes it easier for students to go on and be successful in the colleges and to be successful in careers. It's all about alignment with the non-credit programs in the community colleges and the adult ed programs that we have throughout the state. Of course, there's a lot more adult ed K-12 providers throughout the state than there are the non-credit programs in the colleges. We all can learn from each other with this, and I think that's the important piece that we always need to hang on to when it comes down to this. Just some quick facts in terms of what a consortia has to have in it in terms of its requirements from AB 86. You have to have a school district. You also have to have a community college district involved with that. And those are two important elements. I want to actually go through the AB 86 text in just a second because I think it's important for all of us to kind of get into it. It's not a long, 100-page text It's really just about a page and a half, I think, altogether, but it's important for us to kind of get into it. But in addition to a school district and a community college district, other adult education providers can be involved in a consortium. And that might include a community-based organization of some kind. It might include the Workforce Investment Board or some other community provider that's helping out with adult education programs. The actual consortium will determine who's going to be the fiscal agent. It could be the community college. It could be the K-12 adult education provider. That's something that's going to be worked out at the local level and figured out at the consortium level. So that's an interesting component that many people ask us questions about. This is a non-competitive grant. It's not like some of the grants that we're used to. As a matter of fact, most of the grants we're used to anymore, where you're competing against each other. We're all kind of trying to get the same dollar. In this particular case, it's non-competitive, and the money is going to be distributed throughout the state to the various consortia based on some kind of a formula yet to be determined. And that's one of the things that we wanted to ask you about in terms of what your opinion is, or what your ideas might be related to how that distribution might take place. Nothing has been finalized, and now's our opportunity to kind of help shape that discussion. So it's non-competitive.